Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with reTHINK Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 18. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at reTHINK Coaching. And as always, I just want to thank you for sharing your time with me and spending some time with me today. So for today's content, I want to talk to you about something that is a great resource and tool that you could use to help you stay on track, stay focused, and actually achieve the goal that you've set for yourself and your business, and to live into the vision that you've created for yourself. And it's through accountability. And I just want to talk about accountability for a second. I've been a coach for a long time, and I have seen people react to the word accountability in a variety of different ways. I've worked for organizations that accountability was a very punitive experience for a lot of people. I have seen it be talked about and not really enforced. And I've seen accountability make people feel like their freedom is being taken away because as entrepreneurs, and especially my real estate agent entrepreneurs, most of us got into this business, myself included, to have some freedom and flexibility on our schedule and what we do with our time. And accountability can sometimes make us feel like that freedom to do whatever we want to do when we want to do it has been taken away because there's this responsibility that is uncovered when we work on our accountability. So for today's conversation, I want you to think about accountability as just a great resource or tool. That's it. It is a great way for us to create an awareness, a mirror, a reflection, shining a spotlight, whatever you want to call it, on your commitments and your activities. And it's a great way to stay on track and to achieve your goals and your visions. My goal for all of you is to be able to have a life by design, not by default, is to be able to create exactly what you want to create in life and to love it and to own it at a really high level. And you can't do that without having some accountability in your life. So it's important for moving toward goal. The other thing about accountability that is incredibly important is that as humans, 90%, so a little bit more than 90% of what we do in business and life is done through conditioned habitual habits and behaviors. And so that's just how we function, right? So I think a good example of this is a lot of times we commit to doing something that we haven't done before, whether it's a different form of generating leads, whether it is a health and wellness journey for yourself that requires you to do different things, go to the gym, eat differently, whether it's a financial journey, whatever it is that we're going to do that's going to require us to show up a little bit different than we have in the past, because to get to be able to do something different or a result that's different, you got to show up differently, right? You can't just show up and do what you've always done and expect a different result. So whether it is in business or in life, 90% of what you do is a conditioned habitual response or behavior. And when we are setting out to do those new things, what tends to happen if you're not working with a coach or an accountability partner is we just start to gradually and suddenly default to our old ways because they're comfortable and they're familiar. I always say it's like a really good, cozy, warm blanket on a cool day or a cold day. It just makes you feel good because you don't have to think, right? Your old habits are just there. You don't have to think about it. And you get to just go into the zone or into autopilot. And that's where we can default to those old conditioned habitual behaviors. So what I want you to hear clearly is I didn't say 90% of what we do is phenomenal, empowering, fantastic conditioned habitual behaviors. It's just conditioned habitual behavior. Some is good, some is not so great. Some is empowering and some is disempowering. So accountability helps us stay true to the new tasks that we must do or the new way that we must show up and not slip into our old habits that would prevent us from living the new vision or the new goal or the new life that we've set for ourselves. So that's a big part of what accountability is about. And like I said, accountability really is not punitive. For me, having accountability conversations with my coach, having accountability conversations with the clients that I coach is truly a way that we expose, right? We peel back the curtain and we look at what's really going on, because when we're accountable to certain behaviors and we don't do them, we can be aware that we didn't do them, right? If we don't have accountability, we just do what we want to do when we want to do it, and we're always going to get what we used to get. And so that's why I love accountability as a coach. I love accountability as a client of a coach, and I love it for my private clients that we have accountability conversations. They're never punitive. They're just meant to learn and to grow from. The other part about accountability that I think we tend to not own at a really high level is, let's be honest, most of the time when we set a goal or a new vision, right, it has impact greater than just ourselves. So let me give you an example. When I hit my financial goals throughout the year and at the end of the year, I get to do really cool things for people that maybe are not as fortunate or need a little bit of help. And that's through the form of donations and charities. Or if I just meet a family or a friend who's in need, I can help them, right? So my achieving my financial goals is bigger than just me. And I love what an old mentor said to me, it's not about the money, it's about what the money can do. So when I think about, for myself, the impact of me hitting goal is way bigger than me just celebrating and, popping a cork and having a glass of champagne that I hit this number. This is going to have an impact greater than me. So for a lot of us that have children, or for like myself, no kids, but I have amazing nieces and nephews, and I love to be able to do things for them throughout the year. However, if I don't hit that goal and I don't hold myself accountable, all of that stuff is at risk. All of it is, right? Because the impact of me hitting goal is now affected. And this is where I want you to have really honest conversations with yourself. It's not just some ambiguous number that we've set for ourselves for a goal. There's a reason we set the goal as we set it for a business or life. It's to have a greater impact. And for those of you who are parents, a lot of times the impact that you make is a generational impact. You can provide for your kids maybe in a way that you didn't have as a kid growing up. You can provide for them in a form of higher education, or in a form of getting a certification or learning a skill. You can provide for them in being able to provide transportation when they turn 16 for them, and a safe car for them, and your spouse or significant other or important people in your life. You see, that's the true impact. It's not just the number. And without accountability and creating an awareness around this, we lose out on it just being some ambiguous goal. So accountability is going to look like this as we move forward. And this is what I want to invite you to think about. When you think about accountability, I want you to be brave enough that at the end of the week, when you're assessing what you did compared to what you committed to do, what you agreed to be accountable to, if you did not do the activities and the actions, are you comfortable having a conversation with the people that are impacted by this decision, because you're not going to make goal, that you would either pick up the phone or call your kids in the room or call the charity that you're choosing to donate to and just say, hey, this week I made a decision. I made a decision to not be accountable to myself and the actions that I agreed to take. And therefore, through my decision, you're being impacted. I'm not going to be able to fund you in the way that I have in previous years because I'm not going to make my goal, or I'm not going to be able to fund you to the level of commitment I made. So if you make a financial commitment to your church through tithing, to organizations, and Also, if you've made a commitment to your kids about trips or about them being able to play soccer or baseball or cheerleading or be involved in clubs and events, are you willing to own your accountability at such a high level that you will have those conversations with the people that are truly being impacted by your decision? That is the ultimate form of accountability. And for me, when I know that I have a choice to make and my choices are going to make an impact on other people that I have made a promise to or a commitment to, or that if they need something, they know they can turn to me, that to me cranks up my accountability. And at the end of the week, I never want to have a conversation with the charities that I support saying, hey, I can't do it. And I can't imagine as a parent having to go to your kids and just say, hey, listen, we're not going to be able to take that trip because I made some choices. I'm not able to fund the vacation fund this week, this month, this year because of the choices that I'm making. And I know that may sound really harsh. However, it's really just the truth. It's your truth. And when we do not hold ourselves accountable to the impact, we're just lying or we're just hiding the result. We just sit there and think, well, I didn't do it. Okay, it's just my number. It's not. And I do love that saying. It's not about the money. It's about what the money can do. Everything we do has a bigger impact. So I want you to think about accountability differently than you ever have. And I want you to really focus on the impact that you will have if you hold yourself accountable and do what you said you were going to do to get to that goal. That's accountability. And, there's a lot to process and think about. And I know for some of you, this may be a new way of thinking about accountability, and it may feel super uncomfortable. And I hope it does. I really do, because when we're uncomfortable, we grow the most. So I'm going to ask you, what are you doing to hold yourself accountable? And who are your accountability partners? Do you have a peer? Is there another real estate agent? Is there somebody in your brokerage that you can work with that you can be accountability partners to, and have someone that is willing to have the really uncomfortable conversation with you, not just say, well, it's okay that you didn't do it this week. There's always next week. No, who do you have? And I'm saying this out of a lot of love and compassion. Accountability partners are great, yet I would highly encourage you to have a coach. Because as a coach, we do not have that personal friendship or feel compelled to tell you it's okay. It's not okay. And we have a whole different skill set that we can work with you to help figure out what prevented you from doing what you said you were going to do and you didn't do, versus just saying, it's okay, you'll do better next week. So I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to think about partnering with a coach, that accountability is part of your agreement, and conversations are had about, hey, this is what you committed to do. Awesome job, you did it. Or this is what you committed to do. From an accountability perspective, you didn't do it. What are we going to do to change that? What stopped you from doing it? And I will tell you, the number one thing that tends to stop people from achieving and moving forward and from their accountability is they reason themselves out of it. We're great salespeople. I mean, for my real estate agents who are listening to this, we are amazing salespeople. For other entrepreneurs that are solopreneurs right now, you're doing everything, sales, ops, producing, everything. You too are awesome salespeople. And we will tend to sell ourselves into all of the reasons why we didn't do something and make it okay. And so things that I have heard as a coach over the more than a decade that I've coached is, I had other things I had to do. I mean, it just had to be done right then and there. So I couldn't do that lead generation activity. I couldn't do the thing that's going to bring me future business. I needed to take care of some stuff right now. It's only me. So I had to take care of that paperwork that day, and I was unable to get to the most important activity, but it was so important. You see, those are reasons, and you can have reasons or you can have results. You can't have both. And in my world, if you're coaching with me, I look at reasons as excuses and not very great ones. Let's be honest, we can sell ourselves into feeling great about our decision to not follow what we want to be accountable to because we're great salespeople. And once you start to reason your way into it, you're giving up your results. It's impossible. You have reasons or results. You can't have both. So I'm just going to ask you, as we move into a new year, or you're moving into a new phase of business or life, how are you going to approach accountability differently? I'm inviting you to think about the impact and those that are impacted around you as a key part of your accountability towards moving towards your new future, your new vision, and your new goal. You see, accountability can be a great thing. It really can. It truly shines the light on your truth. And that is the fastest way to get to where you want to be and to be able to create this life by intention and not live a life by default. That 90% of conditioned habitual behavior. So look at yourself in the mirror today and have a conversation with you and ask yourself how you're going to treat accountability different as you move forward. It's key to your success. All right, team, as always, if you have any questions or any concerns and you just need a little extra help, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Tony@rethinkcoaching.com is my email. I am on Facebook, Tony Caliendo. I'm on Instagram, Tony M, like Michael Caliendo. I'm even on TikTok. So there are plenty of ways that you can get to me if you need some clarity or you need some guidance in this really important part of your growth, and that is accountability. I'm hoping that you gleaned something from this that will help you on your journey towards that life that you intend to have and the business that you intend to own. I appreciate you being here. I will see you next week. Go make it an awesome week and be accountable. It's an amazing thing. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.